Questions, one of the most important things in your toolkit to help engage and uncover and discover things and connect with people. We're often told we should be asking open-ended questions as opposed to close-ended questions. But I've always had a bit of a challenge with that, because what actually is an open-ended question? In this video, I've got something to share with you that might make it a little easier to ask open-ended questions. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Campbell Such. This is Mind Bite Thursday, your weekly dose of the human edge in technology. This week, questions, and in particular open-ended questions. I've always had a bit of a challenge with open-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are pretty obvious. They're anything that you can answer yes or no to, but everything else is a little bit kind of more nebulous and open. What I've found is that there's a way to kind of wrap a set of questions around a particular type of question that might make it a little bit easier for you to know the right thing to do to ask an open-ended question. Open-ended questions tend to take two forms. One is interrogative-led, and the second one is verb-led. Interrogatives are what, where, when, how, which, why. And verb-led questions start with various forms of to be or some other verb. You know, are you going out? Is it going to rain today? Those both start with verbs. The advantage of interrogative-led questions is that they almost always end up with a question that isn't a yes or no, whereas verb-led questions can easily end up. So you've got the yes-no questions, which are obvious, then you've got the verb-led ones, which can be either or. The interrogative ones almost always are open-ended questions. There's a few, but it makes it a heck of a lot easier. So the key is to ask interrogative questions because they're far more likely to be open-ended if that's what you want to achieve, as opposed to the close-ended questions. So what is it you're trying to achieve? How will that make a difference? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So some interrogative questions would be, is that what you really want? Are you going to do that now? Isn't that something you should really consider? You can see that they kind of tend towards the yes-no questions, whereas the interrogative questions are much more open. The key after you ask any question, but in particular with the interrogative questions, is to then listen to the answer and ask the next question based on the information that you get. And that makes the other person feel heard, and it will help you to get to wherever it is that you want to get to. There is one caveat on using interrogative questions, and that's the question why, using the interrogative why, questions that start with why. The challenge with why is it tends to make us, it goes probably way back to our childhoods when you've done something wrong and your parents said to you, why did you do that? And we end up, it tends to be negative, and we tend to either be on the back foot, we tend to feel we've been accused of something, and we end up in a defensive mode. Instead of using why, you can change it and use a phrase starting with what, which is what was the reason. So instead of saying, why did you do that? You could say, what was the reason for that? Or what was the reason you did that? And it's still looking for the same information, it just doesn't engender that same negative withdrawal reactive thing. So just to sum up, questions are a great way, as we all know, to connect and to engage with other people and to get information that we need. We tend to be told not to use closed-ended questions, which sometimes are really valuable if you just want to get a yes-no answer, but more often than not aren't. And then there's this nebulous thing, which is, well, what's an open-ended question? The easiest way to think about it is if you use the interrogatives, what, why, when, how, where, which, with the question, and remembering that why can be one of those ones that you just have to be a little bit careful with, can really help you ask questions that are far more open-ended, that will get a response that isn't a yes-no. And then follow up the question by listening carefully and with follow-up questions based on what they've said, or to use the tell me more to get more information, or mirror what they've just said in the last 2 or 3 words of their last sentence with an inflection on the end. Something to try, something to ponder, hopefully some really good value for you. If you'd like more information or videos like this, subscribe to the Integration Catalyst YouTube channel, links below the video. And if you'd like to see whether I might be able to help you with wherever you are in your career and with your aspirations to help grow and accelerate your career going forward, reach out to me through the link below or on the website, and you can book a 30-minute complimentary, free, low-key, no pressure, no obligation strategy and coaching session to see whether there might be a fit. I can understand a bit about you, you can understand a bit about me, and whether or not there might be some benefit for both of us in going forward with a connection, how I might be able to help you, and then you can make the decision completely up to you. So that's Campbell Such, Mind Bite Thursday for this week. Over and out. See you next week.